In session 4, we're going to talk a little bit about keeping the main thing the main thing. And at the same time, we're going to be focusing on the idea of being aligned for mission. This is an important thing for both local churches and for an annual conference. Let me begin by just recalling a little bit of these words of Isaiah, where Isaiah has God say, "Do not remember the former things, for I'm doing something new." Isn't that a strange way to say it? After all, the strength of the covenant was always in the telling of the story, of the remembering of the old ways. But all of a sudden now God is suggesting something new in terms of, well, maybe we could call it a clean break from the past. Not that the things in the past weren't important to us, they were. And they were very effective and helpful as we made the journey forward. But there are those moments in history, in God's story, when new ways need to be found to have an effect on the world in which we live. And so not remembering the former things was not intended to say everything that's gone before us is no longer valid or not important, but it's an attempt to say, let's enter into God's vision of a new creation. Let's begin to envision where it is God's leading us as God creates this world before us and invites us on that journey of creation. It often takes the form of a conversation about change, doesn't it, when we think about this? The change, we talk about being something very hard to live into, to accept. In reality, change is God's way of creating. Every moment of change is God introducing into the world something new that challenges the way we think about it. And so if change is really part of God's good creation, then it is obviously something we need to embrace and to live into. Which takes us back to the title of this whole study, doesn't it? Living into the vision is living into the vision that God has placed into our hearts and minds and is encouraging us to take with us into the future. The mission and ministry of our churches and of our conference is one that will need to constantly remember the vision, not focus so much on where we've been, but to look forward to where God is leading us.